whatever time it is, I hope you are enjoying yourself. So first off, happy Halloween, very fun time. But second, for today's special illustration, I will be crossing digital and traditional mediums because I'm going to be printing out the line art that I did digitally and then coloring it with alcohol markers. You can see through the time-lapse that I have done this in Procreate. That's where I did the line art, of course. I did mention, I think in previous videos throughout this month, that I'd like to practice digital line art just as much as traditional inking. Also, let me know if you'd be interested in like a digital inking session. I could probably do like a silent studies version of that where it's like an ASMR type video of me just testing out digital line art. So I arranged several things after I got the composition and line art down, mostly like the inking and the colors, but after I was mostly satisfied with the line art, I drafted up how I might want to color it traditionally, and so what you're seeing on the screen is basically what I decided to go off of. So after that, I saved the line art file as a PNG and I sent it to my mom's printer, because I don't really have one, but I matched the digital canvas size to the standard letter size printer paper. So here is what it looks like. It's fairly large compared to my usual illustration size, but whenever it comes to coloring this, as I am using alcohol markers for that, I will be using my beloved Copic Markers. But before I did this, I did a little test illustration of this whole process before getting into this one, and that's what you're seeing on the screen right here. I'll probably turn that into a short, but it's kind of like a little drawing of my OCs. Now, I'm filming all of this setup and back and forth, but spoiler alert, I am gonna have to start over on a brand new sheet of paper, but just reference this as to how I prepare. At this point, you'll probably already know like my setup for working on an illustration, especially with alcohol markers. It's just masking tape if I feel I need to use it, making sure that I have a swatch sheet of paper to test swatches before I color. It's basically about making sure that I have everything that I need before I get started, kind of like getting ingredients for cooking. But let's get into why I had to start over. It's essentially because there's a lot of smearing that ends up happening. I don't think I waited long enough for the printer ink to dry, so I definitely noticed a lot of smearing whenever I went to go do the skin. I also just really wasn't feeling the colors. I was gonna try to just smile through the paint, but then I made a really awful mistake and I smeared really poorly on one of the faces, so I was like, okay, no, I can't do this. And luckily I had already printed a backup, so here we go, onto the next one. Also, I should probably tell y'all who I'm actually like what this illustration is of, who these characters are and all that. So I'm sure I've snuck some hypnosis microphone content into my previous videos. I mean, literally my last one, I'm pretty sure. That was whenever I did fan art of Kuko, so yeah, we're back on the hypnosis microphone hype. This time it's an illustration of one of my favorite divisions, Flame Posse. I feel like they are just very much up my alley on terms of aesthetics, and the characters, I really adore them. I've loved them for a long time now. They just have a special place in my heart. And for those of you like, what the heck is a hypnosis microphone? All you need to know is rapping anime men. Yes, okay, so that's happening. And Flame Posse is essentially like a group out of, I think, what, 6, technically 7, but 6 groups, at least in the main franchise. Each rap group is formed under a division, which is based off of a specific like area in Tokyo. So Flame Posse is under Shibuya's division, and it consists of 3 members. The one that I'm coloring right now, who's the leader, is Ramada, and I love him very much. The other 2 that I will get to coloring as well are named Gentaro and Dice. Ramada is a fashion designer. He is a very like cutesy, playful type personality. There's layers to him, of course, but his overall demeanor, I would say, is like cute, fun. He talks with like stars and hearts in his words. So yeah. As for Gentaro, he's gonna be the one with brown hair. He's the one on the left, the bottom left, and he is a writer. He's also a filthy liar, but that's not important right now. As for Dice, Dice is a gambler. Dice very much gives like stray cat type energy, because he's always just on the streets, always asking these 2 for like money, but he's very precious. He's there when you need him to be. He's a very like honest, chill guy. I feel like anybody could get along with him. But this very brief prefacing aside, this drawing is actually based off of some official art that was recently released. It was like of them as chibis for Halloween. Each year they seem to like change who's what, like who dresses up as what, and it looks like this time Fling Posse was dressed up as a ghost, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever. Also because, so a major part of Hypnosis Microphone is tied to the fact that they have actual songs that you can listen to on Spotify and things like that. One of their songs that's actually featured in the anime is called Shibuya Ghost Night, and it's like a whole Halloween type episode. I'm almost positive it came out during Halloween, or like the week of Halloween, I think in 2020, but the episode and the song tie into each other pretty well. Essentially, it's like Ramada makes a bet with dice that ghosts aren't real, and Gentaro kind of just plays as like this mediator almost. Well, if a mediator were to like instigate and gaslight both sides, I guess. Long story short, because I saw that their official art featured them in these little cute ghost capes, I figured it would be a fun thing to like draw for Halloween. I already had many options. It would have been cool to do something for my OCs, but this one really took a hold of me as an idea, so I just kind of went with it. Looking back, I'm kind of surprised how quickly I put this together too. Like, I know that there's a lot that I'm kind of just referencing from the official art, but I feel like from the thumbnail at the beginning to me coloring this now, everything just kind of fell into place quite comfortably. I think printing out a backup and being able to start over was a blessing in disguise. It gave the ink time to dry a little bit more, and I also was just able to approach the colors better. I feel like my rendering overall is quite lazy this time around, and I'm okay with that. If anything, it was just fun. I feel like with how it's just essentially line art printed out, it definitely gets like the coloring sheet feel, which makes sense because it quite literally is a coloring sheet. It's just I'm the one that made it, but I guess because of that, that's why it feels a little bit off. Like, it feels like for some reason whenever I was coloring it, it felt like I didn't originally make it. I was like, why does this feel weird? Like, it feels like I'm doing something, like I'm breaking the fourth wall or something, I don't know. But I feel like this method is a viable option for coloring an illustration if you're okay with using printer paper. If anything, I forgot just how nice it is to use alcohol markers on printer paper, because I know most people say that Bristol is like really great, and I feel like so far I have enjoyed it, but printer paper, like using this again, it was very healing. I completely forgot how convenient it was. I think I made a joke in one of my other videos about like testing out the different papers to use for alcohol markers specifically, and I joked that printer paper would probably end up being my favorite, and honestly at this point that might be the case. Also, spontaneous disclaimer, if I sound like dead inside, it's because it's like almost 8 a.m. while I'm filming this voiceover to try to get this video up the same day on Halloween. But I'm good, I'm chill. It's just I don't really sound super enthusiastic. I also don't want to like wake anybody up potentially, so I'm kind of just like, we're chilling. But yeah, while this method feels odd and I don't think I would use it for traditional illustrations often, I do think it'd be great for practicing like rendering styles. Again, assuming that printer paper is comfortable for you, but you can also potentially try like printing your line art on other paper as long as it works with the printer, like say watercolor paper or something. I've never tried it, so I don't know, but I feel like the medium would also have to be compatible with the ink as well, so like making sure the water wouldn't smudge with the ink, even if you did have it printed out and it dries and everything like that on watercolor paper. I thought it'd also be kind of like a cool collab idea to share line art from an art friend and then the other person would color it, because I know people normally do that digitally, but I think it could be kind of fun to do traditionally. And in this way, with you printing out line art that's already made, it's like you can save time to do it traditionally instead of like having to draw one specific like unique drawing and then giving it to a friend. Instead, you can just kind of like have copies of it. There were some things that I didn't catch in regards to the line art. I feel like line art is very tricky, but I've learned that it is doable. I was mostly rushing to get this out for Halloween, so I did run into a few inconsistencies and errors, one of them being the line going through the pumpkin on the right, the one that's on Dice's shoulder, and then also the buttons on Gentaro and Dice's vests, like at the bottom. One of them is on the left side of the line and the other one's on the right side of the line. Very nitpicky, I know, but those kind of things matter to me in the end, so I'm kind of salty that I missed it. But for the most part, I feel like I'm amazed that my line art is actually capable of not sucking, because again, it is quite doable. It just takes a lot of focus and reviewing and adjusting. Also making sure that your screen is like as clear and clean as possible. My screen on my iPad It's a little bit difficult sometimes because of the cover that it has. I don't know if the paper-like type cover that makes it easier to like write on instead of the glass. I don't know if that's what's causing the sort of like almost rainbow individual little pixel things to be seen more, or if it's just because the screen gets a little bit dirty from like oil on my hands and stuff like that, and then that makes it even worse. But either way, it did pose quite a challenge for me on trying to make sure that I could see each and every little line as clear as possible. It also takes just knowing which brush works best for you. I wasn't too confident about like doing line art in Procreate on my iPad especially, so while it doesn't turn out perfect, I will say I'm kind of like impressed or pleased for it to look at least somewhat neat. But I'm gonna likely revisit line art again in the future. Like, it's just an ongoing thing, so we can always talk about all the little nitty-gritty things another time. I feel like for right now, I'm seriously excited to have done fan art, especially in such a quick time. Like, it took less than a week to put this together, and though other people might have been able to do it faster, and I also simply did this just so I could meet the Halloween deadline in time, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of cool, because I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels like I'm becoming more and more reassured that I can work on illustrations and just have them come out cool or nice, or even just creating something with energy and effort put into it and then going on to the next drawing afterwards. Like, that's something that I've wanted for so long, to be able to work on back-to-back illustrations and not put so much weight on it and just kind of having fun with it. Like, that is what makes me feel like an artist. So I was kind of pleased to have that moment, even if, again, I was kind of just like rushing for the sake of things. I think it turned out kind of nice. But I especially say this because, again, fan art, I feel like I tend to overthink it a lot, and while they could have came out better, I feel like I generally like how they look, like especially Dice. Dice, his face, I remember one time, like years ago, whenever I was doing like a 6 fan arts, I wanted to draw Dice, but I hated how his face came out. I hated it so much, and it made me so frustrated because I was like, why can't I just draw people like how I want to? Why do I suck so much? And knowing the growth that I've made, even though it's not like huge, it feels like kind of nice though to know that I'm a little bit closer than I was before. I'm not quite there yet, but I am getting closer on like getting the faces that I want, and that makes me really excited for like what's to come in the future. So yeah, just hope to continue this more and more. Hypmic is a very fun franchise with tons of opportunities for different kinds of fan art. I feel like their character design and also their like graphic design, like for their packaging and all that, that's very inspiring to me. So I definitely want to like take that inspiration moving forward on my own projects. And then of course there's many other franchises that I'd like to do fan art for as well. That's not anything new. I think I literally said that verbatim in my last video. What else? Like I said, after this I'm going to try to take it easier since we're getting towards the end of the year and stuff, and I just want to refocus on things and figure out how to like adjust my priorities. I feel like I put in so much work to output videos each week and playing catch up, but sometimes I just have like really humbling moments where I'm like, hey, let's just take it one upload at a time. If things work out, cool, but if not, then we can always switch it up. And some of you may have seen my short form content being uploaded more, and more or less I feel like that might be a bigger lead to help me grow at the moment. I mean, everything's kind of up in the air and I'm definitely like experimenting, but I'm just worried that in regards to the short form content, I feel like the transfer over from like Reels, Shorts, TikToks, etc. I feel like the transfer from that to my actual videos won't really work well for a majority of the people. And overall, that's fine, since I really want to make sure that I attract people who genuinely take interest in art and adjacent things like anime or games, and also like me specifically as a person, as someone who is sharing the space of those things with you. Now that said, knowing the difference of my YouTube video engagement versus a very low effort TikTok that I made that ended up getting 220 likes, that was a very existential moment, honestly. But long story short, if you like my short form content only, then feel free to just stay to that. And if you're comfy with these actual videos that I've made, then that's great too. And if you just happen to like both and you're here with me for the ride, then hey, you get a gold star. Thanks. But I'm gonna try to just like rest down a bit and keep my videos simpler as we move on to November, and just kind of like focus on enjoying the art assignments that I've lined up for myself. But your feedback is welcome as always, and the support is appreciated as always. Oh, thanks for 600 subs now, by the way. That's awesome. I'm sure you guys will have time to think about it just as I will, but we need to decide on if we would want a video of me either drawing your OCs or a 6 fan arts video for whenever we hit 1k. Again, I'm sure we have time, but maybe I can make a poll whenever it happens. But yeah, I'm kind of already out of stuff to say, and I still have about like 5 minutes to fill, so oh gosh, wish me luck. I mean, it's Halloween, so I guess I could talk about that. Or if you guys, do you have any plans for Halloween? Because surprise, surprise, I do not. I am not doing anything except for, I guess, making sure this video gets uploaded and then resting, hopefully at some point. I really should try to stay up for all of today and just kind of see if I can reset my schedule for the new month. That would be quite ideal, but who knows? Again, I'm like constantly in this back and forth between deciding on whether or not I want to save my sleep schedule or completely destroy it. But either way, I'm here. As long as I sleep at some point. It would be nice to do something for Halloween, but I don't really like what would I really do? Even if I did know people that were like throwing some giant party, I'm not really the type of person to go join that. Unless it was like a movie marathon with soup involved. Oh, I really want soup. It's soup season. I'm so excited. I know people typically have a lot of candy on this day, but I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm not really a person to be excited to be eating a ton of like candy. I like sweets, don't get me wrong, I love sweets, but candy by itself is kind of like eh. It's just eh. You know, I'm probably saying all this because I likely need to go to the dentist and like make sure that I don't have more cavities forming, but I digress. Also, as we are getting towards like, I guess, finishing up this spread, I mean there's still a couple more things that I have to do, but for the most part I just wanted to point out that you might have noticed compared to the test drawing at the beginning, the background is looking a little bit different. Basically, before I got into this finalizing stage, I looked back at my original reference that I had created and just kind of played around with the colors a little bit more, and I decided that I wanted to go for a yellow background because at least like a yellow to pink, and I felt like that would be a little bit better than like that sort of light purple indigo color. I just feel like it gives a little bit more of an exciting energy this way. Also, yellow is like their division color, so hence why you see so much of it throughout the spread. Now, unfortunately, trying to get a gradient traditionally is always difficult compared to digitally. It's like the bane of my existence because I seem to love gradients, but again, trying to work with it traditionally is such a pain, unless I'm using like watercolor, I guess. I mostly get stressed whenever it's a situation like this where I'm doing it on a background using alcohol markers and using it on a large piece of paper, so it's like I have to try to spread it across. It was very hard to try and like feather it out and get it to blend into each other while also like trying to dodge around some of the lighter objects that I didn't want to get the marker on. But in general, I feel like it's pretty cute. Again, I also have the digital version to play with as well, so no hard feelings there. I think that's the cool thing about this whole method. Once again, it's like it really works well for like testing out your traditional supplies. I feel like it would really help me figure out how I want to render traditionally with alcohol markers especially, so I might try that out. But this is the part where I just touch up the very last few things, so I hope you guys had a chill time watching this illustration come together, even though it's kind of like in a little bit more odd way than normal. I hope your Halloween plans are chill. I hope that your day goes well. I think it's gonna rain over here supposedly, but it looks very sunny out right now, so I'll have to see about that. I really hope it does. I've been wanting it to rain for the longest time so I could get some nice calm atmosphere. It's always just nice to have for either sleeping to or just having it accompany you while you work on stuff. At least for me, again, like a rainy day and a nice warm mug of something, that's just the life for me, ideally. Also, do kids go trick-or-treating anymore? Because that's been a genuine question that I keep thinking about, and I'm not really sure. I don't think they do it nearly as much, and that's kind of sad, but worst case scenario, you can always get the 50% off candy on sale the next day. So, as I said, I will be sitting the candy fest out because I'm not a huge candy person. I have been getting addicted to gummy worms again though, and it's been insufferable. So yeah, I guess my Halloween plans are just gonna be rewatching anime all throughout the day while trying to stay awake. I should draw Sasuda. I should do fan art of Sasuda. He's also from Hypnosis Mike, and his birthday is actually on Halloween, so maybe I have something to do after all. I mean, aside from probably playing League and Wuthering Waves for like 5 hours straight, but oh, lastly, the reason why there's like these random names up there, those are their MC names. EZR, Phantom, and Dead or Alive are their MC names. Sorry again if I got progressively quieter over the video. Again, I'm incredibly tired, but thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed your time today, you can let me know by leaving a like. If you're interested to see more of my content, you can always check out my other videos and subscribe. For reference, if you're new, I am Rhea, or Etheria, and I like making art and art-related content on my channel. I tend to post weekly videos, but if you would like more timely updates, you can probably just continue to follow me here since that's where I'm most active. Or I guess TikTok, apparently. But until next time, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you a nice festive year Halloween! Stay safe and have fun, and I'll see you next time. Take care.